Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. After the shenanigans of yesterday and coming home and thinking, I'm not sure my back's going to be okay, the Sunday chat got cancelled basically, and I said I'd do something today. Well, I said it yesterday. So today I thought, right, I've got up, a few twinges, but I think I'm okay. I've got away with it. Yet again, got away with it. So thinking really good stuff, I thought workload today minimum. Sprayer for the mounts, spray over the top of the holy clay pots, that's all I need to do, plus watering outside. Tubs, bonsai, and replenish the bird seeds on the feeder. So I thought that's not bad, and then I had my home shopping, my food shopping arrived. It was said to arrive between 2 and 3, well 2:30, bang in the middle, so just the job. Not a big shop, so not lots of unloading, but the wine was on offer, so we stocked up. I go along the lines of, it's going to get used. What's the point in paying full price when you can get 25% off in this shop and put it in the cupboard, you know? So that's what we did. And then I thought, well, that's it for the day. Settled down in the comfy chair, put the telly on. I thought, I'm going to be asleep very quickly. That's going to happen. And I thought, there's something I haven't done. I did a bonsai video this morning of everything that I bought, during my bonsai boot sale trip yesterday. That video will go up tomorrow morning. I did the video of the bonsai boot sale, having a look around the stalls and a couple of panoramic shots, if you're interested in that. That's on the bonsai channel. What I came home with will be on the bonsai channel tomorrow morning. I'm sort of settling down for the day. Oh, there's something I haven't done. What haven't I done? Suddenly dawned on me, I haven't done an orchid video, have I? I'm getting carried away with this bonsai luck. The thing is, with that event, there isn't another bonsai event now until the Heathrow show, which is right out in September somewhere. So, there's a little flurry of activity in that arena, and then there's nothing for ages. There's very little work to do on the bonsai this time of year. So we come back to the orchids. Anyway, as this is a sort of Sunday chat, even though it's not on Sunday, while I was going round with the sprayer this morning, I was thinking of the next video I'm going to do, which I'm pretty sure will be another one of those seasonal guides to the Dendrobium nobile hybrids. It's a video that needs to come round every now and again. And as I was thinking about what plants I would put in and what state they're in, it suddenly dawned on me that my Dendrobiums are not doing what they normally do this year. They're all late. Now, if the growths start late in the season, are they going to mature at full size, or are they just going to stop growing with shorter canes? This is unknown. This is my first growing season in this environment. And I thought, well, okay, I might have to just accept that my canes on a lot of my Dendrobiums are just not full size anymore, which means there'll be reduced blooms because there's not so many leaf joints and all that sort of stuff. And I was mulling it over and I thought, coming this winter, the cost of dealing with out here is going to get ridiculous. It's going to have probably more than doubled what it would have been last winter, for various reasons, some of which are greed and some of which are political, but not going into that today. And then it suddenly dawned on me that I'm making incredible savings during this period, from late spring through into autumn. Why am I making major savings? Because this environment at the moment needs one fan on. Around the other house it had 2 bigger fans on, an inlet and an outlet fan, and the hydrofogger was on nearly all day, trying to keep it cool. Well, the sun's been on the roof and, it's sitting at 26, 27 degrees, and very rarely gets any hotter. So one fan's enough. The hydrofogger only comes on now and again, and quite honestly, if I've sprayed the mounts, it's not going to come on again today. That'll be it now. So my savings during this season can perhaps go towards what's coming soon that I'm not looking forward to, because I'm going to have to run the heater with the associated fan, and that's going to use a lot of energy. And I thought, well, what about, you know, the Dendrobiums, the ones that have just got that seasonal growth. So a lot of my other plants haven't got a seasonal growth. They grow new stuff, they put on some blooms, and then they have another go. And it's not necessarily at the same time of year each time, and I don't take any notice of them. I just let them get on with it. I mean, my twinkles tend to be late autumn into winter. My Miltonias tend to be late summer into autumn. So they are sort of once a year bloomers, but it's not necessarily the same time each year, and it's going to happen. Virtually no matter what I do, but not the Dendrobiums, not so. So I thought, what could I do? If we get towards the end of the growing season, I mean, we're into August now. By the end of this month, we're going to have come down from 16.5 hours day length down to 13 something, which is this lot's comfort zone, quite honestly. But then it goes on into October. It's going to drop down the light levels, you know, and the sun won't hit the roof anymore. I'll be losing my daytime temperatures. It all starts getting wrong, and growths will probably not have matured. What's the one thing I can do? Most of these seasonal Dendrobiums that I'm talking about don't need heat. They don't actually need bright light while they're growing. What they do need is day length. So should I get the grow lights out? That's the question. They're all sat in boxes. None of them they weren't got rid of. They were all saved up. So that's the theory. As the day lengths start getting down towards 11 hours, should I get the grow lights out, reposition the plants that I'm worried about, and get them under grow lights and keep those day lengths going as long as I can until they physically, I mean, most of the plants I'm on about will produce a terminal leaf, and no matter what you do, once it's done that's it. That cane ain't growing anymore. It's done its deed. But you know, if you think my Hercoglossum up here, it's only just started putting new growths out. It's August, and there's only a couple. Friedrichianum is putting new growths out now. Now, you know, they're 2 or 3 inches long. This is halfway through the growing season. Nobiles, you know, what are they up to? You know, they should have pretty good sized canes by now. So a thought: could I utilise the savings I've done through this time of the year to introduce the grow lights, bearing in mind at first they would only be on for an hour, because all I would do is extend the end of the day to get it back up to 11-12 hours, and then as the day lengths drop down shorter and shorter, they would need to be on for longer and longer. But as I'm here most of the time, I would control that manually. I wouldn't try and mess about the timers. So that was my thoughts for the day, and although it's a chat about the concepts and everything, really it's a what do you think video. You know, this is a different environment and things are not behaving as I expected. I thought I've got so much more light here, things are going to do so much better. But we had that cold spring. I had no daytime heat. I mean, there were times when the heater was coming on during the day because the day was too cold. And this is out into April, heading towards May. In the other place, I'd have had sun hitting the glass. Whoop, up goes the temperature. So it's a whole different ball game now. And yeah, it needs a rethink. And my idea at the moment is that I might have to bundle up these seasonal Dendrobiums into an area where I can hit them with grow lights. So that's my theory. There's 2 things you can buy for children that should be banned if you consider your neighbours, especially if you've got older neighbours that like peace and quiet. One of them's a trampoline and the other one's a swimming pool. It's school holiday time. They got nothing else to do, have they? You know. And with times being hard now and people not wanting to spend too much money, you have to entertain the kids in your own place, don't you? You can't go off driving off to exotic climes because the cost of the fuel's too much. And when you get there, you know, it's a simple little thing, like you go out for the day, perhaps walk along the cliffs and down to the beach, something like that. And then you're going to want some lunch, aren't you? Oh, we'll pop into McDonald's. Well, if there's 2 kids and 2 adults, you're going to part with 20 to 30 quid, aren't you? By the time you've got the meal and you've got some drinks and that, that's a lot of money just for a lunch, isn't it? Whereas you wouldn't spend anything like that at home. So, you know, so be it. And quite honestly, daytime noise is not a big deal, is it? You know, I mean, I've had in the past neighbours who take that noise to sort of 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So out of the window goes the sleep, the annoyance factor goes up. I haven't got any of that round here. The noise level doesn't start until well into the daytime, and it's only kids playing. It's not nasty noise, as I call it. You've got men at work, you know, hedge cutting, drills, mechanical saws, lawn mowers, all that sort of stuff. Men at work, you know, you've got all that sort of stuff. Now the kids are on holiday, we've got another 4 weeks of that, I suppose. And it's too expensive to go wandering off. I mean, I looked at the ocean life, because I've got a friend that I used to work with, has a very disabled daughter who loves ocean life. So she buys annual season tickets. You've seen the cost of just going into ocean life to look at some big fish in some tanks. You know, for the 2 kids and the 2 adults, you're looking at 40 quid to get in. And then, as I said, you're going to need some lunch, aren't you? This is just getting ridiculous. Ridiculous, the cost of things to enjoy. Quite honestly, you need to educate your kids to enjoy a walk in the woods. Let's go for a walk on the cliffs. See if we can see some dolphins out to sea. They'll spend ages scanning the sea. There aren't any there, but they'll spend ages looking for them. Let's go for a walk in the New Forest woods. Let's see if we can find the last red squirrel. Well, there aren't any. They're long since gone. They all decided Scotland was a nice place. But yeah, there are ways of entertaining kids. Anyway, that's my waffle for today. Thoughts about what I can do prior to it being too late. Once those terminal leaves get on those canes, that's it. That's as big as they're going to get. And the idea is to keep them growing and not let them stop. The only way I can do that is to keep reasonable light. They don't need bright light to grow. They need reasonable light, but they need the day length. It's those shortening days that trigger the terminal leaf. You know, a lot of these come from deciduous or semi-deciduous forests. So there are triggers that, you know, they join in with. So yes, so that's my thoughts for today. Should we have a go with the grow lights? I did try them in the other place, and I had wires all over the place and electrics all over the place, and it drove me up the wall. Now I can do it better this time, because if I'm going to get those grow lights out, each grow light, or pairs of grow lights, depending on how I do it, are going to be on a stand that I can pick up and move. Yeah? So they're not fixed to the roof or to the beam or anything like that. They're just on the end of a wire, like, you know, these mobile racks here. So my plan would be to do something like a microphone stand, and if you get a boom stand, you can have one bit sticking out in that direction and the other bit sticking out in that direction, and have a grow light on each end, which would balance them. And then they can be angled and, you know, the height raised and lowered, and, you know, pick them up, put them where you want them, sort of thing. And also pick them up and put them out the way when you don't want them. So some thoughts on that. You know, I mean, it's a whole new ball game. I knew things would be different. How different and what would be different, I didn't know. I said I need a whole season here before I'll know. So that may be the change I have to do. Anyway, I'm standing still again, which is not what's good for my back. I either need to move or sit down. So guess what I'm going to do next? You got it. Sit down. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by. I won't say what I'm going to do tomorrow because I haven't decided yet, but I will probably look at a group of Dendrobiums and see how they're doing and whether they fit into the thoughts that I've put out today. Something like that. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by. And don't forget, supporting that bonsai channel may be of no interest to you, and I'm quite happy that you have no interest in it whatsoever. But for me, it would be nice if you at least went over and subscribed and get those numbers up for me. It will help a lot. And it helps with the overall thing that is me trying to survive in somewhere that costs far more than I can actually afford, which was done to keep this lot going. So even though you're going over to a channel you've got no interest in, you're subscribing, you're never going to go back again, it helps with this. I know it's roundabout sort of thought there, but it does. It's a pull, and that would add to it if I can get that going well. And again, I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. Bye for now.